Hello, welcome to the Caffeinated Castons YouTube channel. My name is Therese, also known as Caffeinated Castons. Welcome! Thank you for those of you who come back each week. I was out last week. Life got crazy. It was a crazy work week. I had a work trip that I had to plan for and get all the things done. It was just busy, so I ended up not having the chance to record. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. Welcome. If you are new, be sure to subscribe and join, where you'll find weekly YouTube episodes of what I'm making and knitting on. I am a North Texas-based knitter, and I've been knitting a little more than 3 years. And this is just like a video version of Ravelry project pages. So if you're familiar with Ravelry and the project page setup there, I'm just showing you what I'm working on and talking through it. I'll talk yarn, supplies, my thoughts on patterns, mistakes I'm making. I think it's a fun, relaxing time, and so I hope you stick around. I do have my coffee. I've got some iced coffee with just some creamer in there. Yeah, like I mentioned, I was out last week, so I did not get the chance to pick up and record before I left for a work trip. So let's catch up. All right, it is Saturday, September 14th. I got back last night from a work trip. I was exhausted. My flight was delayed on the way home, so I got back later than I wanted to. Plus, I'd already been doing things all day that day, like outside, walking around. Yeah. It was a super fun work trip. I had a lot of fun, but I was so exhausted. I'm actually surprised my voice is back today, because by the time I got home last night, my voice was gone. It sounded really rough and really deep. So I'm really surprised. So I have 2 weeks worth of progress, correct, to show you on what's on my needles. So no finished objects. I do have like an unfinished object, which I'll show you what that means in a little bit. But let's get into some works in progress. First thing I'm going to take you through is my Novice Cardigan Chunky Edition by Petite Knit. And this is a cardigan for myself that I am working on. And let's see so last time I showed you this project, I have my little corgi progress keeper. I have a cute little corgi, if you do not know, and she is feisty. And she is a tricolor, so this is very fitting. So got a few inches done on the body length. I did a split for sleeves, and so we are just working on getting, here's the back. Here's the back. There's the front. So we're just working on getting the length where I want it to be before I start the hem, and then I can pick up sleeves. So a little bit about this pattern. As I mentioned, I am doing the chunky edition of the Novice Cardigan by Petite Knit. I am knitting the size large. And for yarn, I am working with the Hedgehog Fibers Tweedy. The colorway is Tweedy. It's like the OG. And I'm holding that double. I think the yarn suggested in the pattern, I think, had you holding 3 different weights, 3 different yarns together. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I knew I really wanted something with this yarn. I really wanted to knit with this yarn when I first started seeing it online, and so I thought this cardigan would look really cute with all the different colors in there. And so I have really been enjoying how it's been working up. I've tried it on a couple times. Right now I'm just trying it on every few inches, just to see the fit of the length. But it fits great so far. I just want it a little, not cropped, but just more sitting at the natural waist. I think this one might go a little bit longer. I don't know. So I'm just kind of trying it on every so often to know when I would want to start the ribbing. And then I'll pick up sleeves. And then I am knitting this. I want to say I went up a needle size on a US 10.5 or a 6.5 millimeter needle, and this is the Chow Goo interchangeable set, so that's what I'm knitting on. I did the ribbing on the collar in a US 10. But yeah, I'm really liking it. I was kind of secretly hoping, and I didn't say it because I didn't think I would finish it and I didn't want to jinx myself. I wanted to finish it before my work trip this past week, but I'm glad I didn't, one, for two reasons. One, because I'm really enjoying knitting on this and I am kind of not ready for it to end yet. But two, it was a lot warmer on my work trip than I was expecting. So I'm glad that I did not finish it and take it, because it just wouldn't have had the chance to be shown around and would have taken up room in my luggage. So that is perfectly fine, but I'm hoping just to keep moving along on this. It does knit up fairly quickly since I am holding DK double. And I'm holding it double. I'm pulling from 2 skeins. I just cake up 2 separate skeins and then hold it double that way. I've used 2 skeins so far. I'm working on the next 2, but I am almost done. I kind of don't want to pull it out. Like, that's what's left of each skein in here, like the 2 different skeins. And so it's probably going to get time to add on the next here soon. And for joining, I am doing the spit splice method, and I did it when I joined, when I ran out and was joining the first 2, did the second 2, worked great. You can't tell in the body, like it works great. So yeah, that is the Novice Cardigan Chunky Edition. The next project that I'm going to talk about for my whips is the Calivada Shawl by Casey Knits. I am so close to being done. That's what I have been saying. Form words, Therese. For quite some time, but I really think I'm almost done this time. I am in the middle of the last repeat that I have to do. I'm almost halfway through it. So let's see, our stitch marker is down here. I've got yarn all over the place. So here's our little stitch marker. So I've knit all the way up here. It is growing. I'm in the middle of a row right now, so I can't like fully lay it out, but it has been growing, and I am so close, I think / I'm going to challenge myself to finish it this week, and then I've got, like, it's winding down for what I've got caked up, and it's just a 2 skein project. I did the 2 color version. You could have done a 1 color version. You can have a lot of fun with this project. I am knitting this on Mace of Skaines. Sorry, my hair is like getting in my way. On their Club Fingering, which is an 80/20 superwash merino nylon mix. And the colors are Dirty Cowboy and Rodeo Queen. And they look amazing together. Like, I don't think I'm ever going to get over that, because I say it every time I talk about this project, just because it is so beautiful. Like, it feels very Western. Like, Mace of Skaines is based out of Fort Worth here in Texas, and it is so good. And someone is in my driveway. I think they're reversing. Never mind. I was like, I'm not expecting anyone. Okay, I think they're just turning around. What was I saying? But yeah, so to me, this is very Fort Worth. Like, I love Fort Worth. And just these colors and the colorway names, like, it's 10 out of 10, hands down. Like, I am so excited to have this finished and wear it whenever it eventually gets cooler here in Texas. We had a cold front, like, when was it? The end of last week. It was like 50 or 60 in the mornings, high 70s, low 80s. It's hot again. It's in the 90s now. What is it? Yeah, it's 91 right now, but later in the year is whenever our fall comes, and you'll get a couple days, maybe a couple weeks, and then it'll be winter. So it's just unpredictable. So I'm just excited for when I'll be actually able to wear this, because it's going to be so good. Oh, I am knitting it on, I forgot to say, a US size 4, which is a 3.5 millimeter needle. So good. So that's the Calivada shawl. And I mentioned earlier an unfinished object. So it's not a whip yet, but it's going to be, because it has been unfinished. So I took a work trip and I was wearing knit socks and tennis shoes, which I've done plenty of times before. And I'm going through airport security, and I take off my shoes and I realize my fun striped socks that I just finished not too long ago, the toe. Like, I don't know if the yarn broke. I really don't know what happened. If I forgot to weave in this end, I don't know. But it broke and it started unraveling. So here I am at the airport with my toesies sticking through. And I was so sad because it was my first time to wear these socks. Yeah, so I really don't know what happened, but I am just going to go back. I did find the yarn. I hadn't done anything with it yet. I will have to recake it, because once I finished the socks, I recaked it to hold double. So like I held the two ends together and recaked it, because it was going to be for my DK jelly blanket. So I do need to rewind the cake again, so it's just single, and then pick this back up just before the toe and refinish this. So this will be a whip once again soon. I just don't know when yet. I don't know if I want to do that this week, because I kind of took a break. I think this was my last pair of socks for summer sock camp. And I told myself after summer sock camp I was going to take a break from socks for a little bit, probably the whole month of September, if I'm being realistic. And so I'm not in a rush to pick these back up, just because I'm pulling focus on the cardigan and the shawl. So I don't know, but these will be picked back up again. Okay, what else do we need to talk about? I don't remember if last episode I talked about September knitting plans. I honestly can't remember, because September has been a blur. Like, it's already halfway over, which just kind of blows my mind. But in general, in case I did, or I don't know what I said, I'd have to go back and look at my notes. But essentially, like, I will finish the Calivada shawl, if not this week. No, I'm not even going to go there. I will finish the Calivada shawl this coming week, knitting here and there where I can on the cardigan. I don't know if I'm going to finish the cardigan this month. Again, it's not the worst thing. That could dip into October knitting. but I for sure want to finish the Calivada shawl. And I'll say a goal for this upcoming week for the cardigan is just to finish the length of the body. So not the hem, but just finish the length of where I want it to be and get ready to start the hem. I think that'll be pretty good there. I almost cast on a pair of socks before my work trip because I wanted to take something small on the plane. I ended up taking the Calivada shawl, which was fine. I didn't knit too much on the plane. I did here and there, but mostly I just like knit whenever I was in my hotel. So I got a decent amount done, but I'm glad I didn't end up casting on the socks since my socks started to unravel. Yeah, so that's kind of like a rough look at the rest of September, is finishing the shawl and then finishing the length, at least finishing the length of the body on the cardigan. Let's talk DFW Fiber Fest 2024. It is here. It's coming up. It is in, 6 days? Less than a week. Because vendor hall opens on Friday, the 20th. And I am so excited. I typically don't really buy yarn throughout the year. Like maybe a skein here and there, like for socks or a beanie or something. The dog is right there. Fiber Fest is whenever I do like all my main shopping, because there's not necessarily like a local yarn store that is conveniently close to me. I do have to drive a little bit in order to get something. And with Fiber Fest, everyone's just in one place. And so that makes it super, super convenient. Okay, we'll start with Fiber Fest knitting plans or buying plans. So I'll be there Friday and Saturday. So if you see me, say hello. And I've been going back and forth on my shopping plans. Originally, a while back, I'd made this list. I don't think I ever shared it on here. But what I wanted to do is buy yarn for a specific garment. Like I wanted to pick a garment and go with the intention to buy yarn to make that. That was before I started my cardigan. And then I wanted to get one project bag and then one show colorway on sock yarn. That was the original plan. Then I saw Amy from, oh my gosh, Happy Little Yarn. My brain is mush. Amy from Happy Little Yarn, she was knitting modified, just version loosely followed anthology throw. And then I started looking up anthology throws all over Ravelry and really contemplated yarn for that, because I did not do a yarn advent this year. I've never done a yarn advent like before, but like just I didn't get one this year. I wanted to, but it was just money I wasn't prepared to spend at the time because they launched so early. And I know some have come out like here and there, but at this point I'm just like, don't worry about it. But I contemplated just kind of building my own advent and buying just mini skeins this year to really kind of like curate what I would want an anthology throw to look like. I'm kind of going back and forth on that because I already have 2 blankets in hibernation. One is a scrappy blanket that's going to take some time. One is like an Afghan. I just need to attach the last square and do, I need to knit the last square, attach it and do the border. So that's like, I won't count that one. But for the scrappy blanket, like I'm still working on that. So I don't know if I would want to start another throw. Even though it's not scrappy, like the yarn would be dedicated to it. I don't know. I can't decide. So I might just get a bunch of minis to continue feeding my DK jelly blanket. So, because it's been a while since I picked it up, but I have plenty of yarn right now. Like I have 2-gallon Ziploc bags full of yarn that I can build or pull from. So I'm not really sure. I don't know. I'm kind of doubting I buy a sweater quantity of anything. We'll see. There are like 2 projects I have in mind that I would consider buying for. One is I think it's called the Lace Fade Boxy Sweater by Hohi Locatelli. I hope I'm pronouncing their name correctly. But I have wanted to make one for quite some time, and that was originally going to be my plan for Fiber Fest, was to get yarn for that. But I'm just not sure at this point. Like, I'm excited about it, but I'm not like committed. I think it's especially just because I have a cardigan on my needles. I think that's deterring me from shopping for another garment, especially when I do have another sweater quantity of yarn already that I've been just going back and forth on. So I don't think I'm committed to a garment yet. So minis might be the way to go. And maybe like a project bag or something. We'll see. Plans change, especially once you actually get in the vendor hall and see all the yarn. So maybe I'll queue up 2 different, how do I want to say this? 2 different projects. One that requires a sweater's quantity, one that's maybe a little bit less. That way I can have like almost like 2 different price points I could shop for. 3 if you're including minis, because those are inexpensive for what I am willing to spend. Yeah, so I think I might have like garment A, garment B, and then just minis. So I think I might break that down and like calculate the measurement that I would make in the garment and figure out how much, like the yardage and how many skeins I would need. Have that broken down, already write down, okay, I'm getting into this, write down like the colors that I would want for a garment, if it's going to be one color, multicolor, tonal, variegated. Minis is free game. Like I'm not going to plan there of like, it would be just whatever I enjoy, because it will most likely be for the scrappy blanket. Maybe I'll do an anthology next year. I don't know. There's so many directions that you could go. Like, to me, at least for me, the type A person I am, it really takes some planning for Fiber Fest. Especially if you want to watch what you spend. Like, yes, there are inexpensive options. You don't have to buy anything at all. You can just be there to connect and mingle, which I think mine is going to be more connecting, mingling, knitting this year. And this is the first year I'm not taking a class as well. So that is money I would have spent on the class can come towards yarn. Same with the hotel. I'm not staying overnight this year. I'm just going to commute in, because again, I wanted to take that money I would have spent on a hotel and kind of put it towards my budget allowance that I'm working with this year. Plus life is just expensive in general with the toddler. So yeah, I have plans but don't have plans at the same time for Fiber Fest as far as buying. So we will see. And last week I did ask you guys what you wanted to see, if you wanted to see anything from DFW Fiber Fest as far as an episode for those who weren't coming in. Because I said I could either do like a vlog style, take you along with me to Fiber Fest, or just a traditional sit down episode where I talk and maybe do a Fiber Fest haul and throw in a snippet here or 2. And I think that is what I'm going to do. I really want to enjoy my time at Fiber Fest. This is a time where I only get to see certain friends once a year. It's the time that I'm taking to just enjoy it and really like meet other knitters, connect. And yeah, so I'm just going to I'll do a haul of what I purchase, throw in maybe a snippet or two, especially like I just don't want to be walking around the vendor hall the whole time with my camera. Not everyone wants to be on camera. I'm going to try very hard not to get faces, and like if people are okay with it, you know, because I just want to be respectful in that aspect. So I'm going to try to just like show like, here's what I am talking about, like do a general thing. We'll see. I don't know. Because that's always a thing too. You want to be very respectful of people's privacy. So yeah, that was a lot about Fiber Fest. But yeah, I'll be there Friday and Saturday. I'm not sure how long I'm going to stay on Saturday because I think I'm going to be there the majority of the day Friday. We will see. But yeah, I would love if you would say hello if you are attending. And if you're not attending Fiber Fest, that is totally okay. Totally okay. Yeah, gosh, I feel like I have so much to say today. Okay. I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about knitting wise. Let's talk. I haven't done reading, watching, listening in a while, so let's talk about that because I've actually been doing those things. Reading. I'm reading one book. I finished one book. I was reading, hang on, back up, make some sense. Okay. I finished a book and there is a book that I am still reading. Book number 1 that I did finish is Fast Like a Girl by Dr. Mindy Pelz, I believe is what it is, but how you pronounce the last name. It's about intermittent fasting, especially fasting as a woman. It is something my doctor, personally recommended for me based on some stuff that we've been talking about. If it's not your thing, don't worry about it. Like, move on. I know food, eating in our bodies is a very sensitive thing. So yeah, but I did find a lot of useful information in here. I enjoyed it. Yeah, so that was nice. So not a story, it's literally just talking about fasting or in our bodies. I am still reading A Little Life. You guys, I've cried. I've heard so many people like, oh, like I sobbed, I cried, and I'm like, I don't know. I've read like a lot of like thriller, murder. I guess I really haven't read anything like sad, but y'all, this has wrecked me. Like, I have never wanted to recommend, but at the same time tell you don't read this at the same time because like it's so compelling and it's so good, just like the journey that these like 4 men go through, like going like from like being young and in college all the way through adulthood. And yeah, like it's so if you read it, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's a hefty book, and here's my bookmark. So I have this much left to read, but I've been reading it a lot lately. I've been trying to read like a few pages every night, and I read like on the plane ride back and like at night in my hotel on my trip. It's very good, but so sad. Be prepared. Yeah, you might want to look up some trigger warnings on the book. I don't know where you could look that up. There might be some in the reviews on Goodreads. But I will say it is not for everyone. Like, it is a good book, but I will say just depending on what your boundaries are as far as what like content you want to, not content, like what you want to read about, this may not be the book for you. Yeah. Watching. Finished Big Bang Theory. I cried in the last episode. Yeah, like I think we really like went through the last 6 episodes because my husband and I watched 2 at a time. And I think once we got to the last like 6 episodes or 4 episodes, I was like, nope, like let's keep watching. We're finishing this tonight because I was like, oh, it was good. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would, and I really liked what they did with the the characters, because I was like, how are they going to turn this show into something that it gives the characters arc in stories and stuff. And I just really liked how they like developed and grew with each other. So I really liked Big Bang Theory. I don't know if we're going to start a new show anytime soon, the two of us. I'm kind of just rewatching stuff on my own at this point. So nothing new watching wise. We just finished Big Bang. Listening, I can't think of the playlist because I didn't write it down on Spotify. I think it's just called like no lyric chill music. Something like that. But I love playing just like wordless, vibey music, especially during work. Because sometimes if I'm overstimulated, like songs with lyrics or listening to podcasts can really distract me. Like because my brain can't process both at the same time. So like this no chill lyrics vibe has really been like my favorite playlist to listen to whenever I'm just trying to get into the workflow and maybe I'm moving around the house or, whatever it may be. So I really like that. Okay. I feel like I've talked a lot. Let's close her on up with some 3 simple joys. If you are new, I close out every episode with 3 things. I list 3 things. Big, small. Usually they're kind of small little things, hence simple. And it's just stuff that's been bringing me joy. I am very much a person who can get overwhelmed and overstimulated. And especially whenever life isn't going the way you want to, just finding these little things that are like, yes, like pockets or glimmers of hopeful things or that you are looking forward to just makes all the difference. And knitting is very much like, it goes without saying, knitting is always like a simple joy. These are like 3 other things because knitting brings me a lot of peace and comfort and has very much saved my mental health. So yeah, that's what 3 simple joys are. So let's talk about what my 3 simple joys have been over. It's hard because I didn't give any last week. So I wrote 3 down, but I'm just I'll list up to 6 things. I'm just going to list some things that have been bringing me joy over the past 2 weeks. Okay. 1, I got a haircut. If you could not tell, my hair is crazy. Because I got home late last night, took a shower and it dried, just air dried, and I haven't done anything to it today. And I worked out this morning. Well, I say work out. I took my son out for a walk this morning, but I mean, it was gross this morning. I broke a sweat, so we'll call that working out. But my hair, I got my hair done. It was my birthday gift to myself. Got like 4 inches cut off. It is a little bit darker, covered up a lot of grays, but it was just so needed for myself. And it was my first haircut postpartum. So yeah, it was crazy refreshing, shedding all the many things. So it was so nice to have done and treat myself to that. Another simple joy was my work trip. I work remote and it can get kind of lonely, party of one over here, and you don't really get to see and interact with your coworkers on that personal level. So this work trip, like it's a once a year thing and I look forward to it very much. And so it was super fun, super glad to see some of my coworkers in person, see my boss in person. So that was super fun. Simple joy. And I guess 3 and 4 technically if we're counting, is my birthday gift from my husband. So I don't know if y'all know, but I have a pop of Ted Lasso on my desk with his little biscuits for the boss. And I think I got that as a Valentine's Day gift, maybe, or just because. But for my birthday, my husband got me Keely Jones and Rebecca. So I'm so excited. Like, I'm not really a pop collecty person, but it's like, if it's something I'm very like into, then yes. And Ted Lasso is just one of the things that I fell in love with on so many levels with that show. Loved it so much. So I'm glad Keely and Rebecca can join my desk over there with Ted. So that's been super awesome. And then I've really just been enjoyed reading again. I loved that I could finish a book and I'm almost done with another book. Like, reading is a thing. Like, before I had knitting, like, I was always reading. Like, I had a book with me in my purse all the time, and I really miss that a lot. Like, since I picked up knitting, like, I'd like to find that balance for both. So I've been working on that. Any other simple choice? I think that's it. So we'll call it that. I feel like this one was a little bit longer just because we had so much to catch up on since I missed last week. Yeah, but this week will just be knitting as much as I can. I'm working today and tomorrow just kind of to get settled back home since getting back from my trip and getting ready for Fiber Fest and preparing. I can't remember what I was just going to say. I guess I don't know. I need to finish my coffee and finish unpacking and getting like my stuff back in order here at home. Yeah. So, with Fiber Fest, the video is going to be late. The episode will most likely be late again since Fiber Fest is on a Friday and Saturday, and I typically have been recording on Saturdays now. So it's going to be late. So I apologize for the wonky schedule from like not having an episode last week. This week is semi on time / late, but it's 2 weeks in one. And then next week is going to be off. So I apologize because I really, really, really try to be consistent. But yeah, I mean, that's life. We're going to roll with it. Yeah. So until next time, stay caffeinated.